The wind punched against the side mirror as I drove. One hand locked around the steering wheel like it owed me something. I didn't even realize how hard I was gripping it until my fingers went numb. It was late, past midnight, but I didn't feel tired. I felt wired. Not the kind of energy you get from caffeine or adrenaline. This was colder. This was clarity. The kind that comes when something finally breaks inside you, and you stop pretending it can be fixed. She was gone for 4 days. That's all I needed. For days to disappear. For days to make sure I'd never walk through that door again. The last thing Amanda said to me before she left was, "Don't wait up. We'll be wine-drunk and barefoot on the beach all weekend." She said it like a joke, tossing her hair like she was in a movie. I didn't laugh. I just kissed her cheek. She laughed at that too. I started packing 2 hours after she left. No dramatic music, no tears. Just the soft mechanical scrape of drawers sliding open, closing. I didn't even need to look in some of them. I already knew what was mine. I knew what I was leaving behind. Her stuff, her scented candles, her expensive skin serums, the stupid little coffee mug she bought that says "Wife Life" in gold foil. I left it all. I didn't even touch the wedding album. I wasn't angry. I'd already burned through anger. You don't really get to that stage overnight. It's like dying by frostbite. You get numb first and you mistake that for calm. But underneath, you're breaking. Amanda wasn't always like this. When we met, she was all sunlight and sharp wit. She used to sit on the kitchen counter eating apples and mocking rom-coms while I cooked. We used to talk for hours about nothing, about everything. And somewhere along the line, she stopped seeing me as someone she chose and started acting like I was something she settled for. The shift was subtle. The compliments dried up. The conversations turned transactional. She rolled her eyes more, laughed less, and then the girls' nights began. It started with one every few weeks, then twice a month. Then "I need space" became "don't wait up." Then the business trips, the late nights, the work retreats. But it was her phone that told the real story. 6 months ago, Amanda dropped her iPhone in the bathroom. I picked it up off the tile before she could. The screen lit up. Notifications from an unknown contact. Just initials TM. One preview read, "Still thinking about last weekend. You left your sweater in my car." I handed her the phone. She didn't meet my eyes. "You going to explain that?" She stared for a beat too long, then shrugged. "Oh my God, Jake. It's just Travis from the marketing team. We got coffee after a conference. You're being paranoid." I wasn't, but I didn't push. That's the kind of thing you do when you love someone who lies. You give them the benefit of the doubt until there's nothing left but doubt. The lies didn't even get creative after that. Just thinner, lazier, like she wasn't even trying to keep the story straight anymore. And every time I questioned her, she flipped it. "Why are you so insecure? You need to stop being controlling. I can't breathe in this marriage." So I stopped talking, stopped asking. I let her believe I bought the stories. I played along. Let her think I was blind and stupid and dependent on her affection like a dog waiting for scraps. I cooked dinner. I paid the bills. I smiled for her friends. And I watched her drift further and further into a version of herself I didn't even recognize. Then came the hotel receipt. It was a Thursday. She said she was staying late at the office for a team-building event. But I just cleaned out the junk drawer and found a folded paper tucked into one of her old purses. The date was from 2 weeks ago. A room booked under her name. Downtown. 1 king bed. 1 guest. I called the hotel pretending to confirm a lost item. They confirmed her check-in. She'd never even bothered to lie well. I didn't confront her. Not yet. That's not how I work. Instead, I waited. Watched. I built a quiet little exit plan while she planned another girls' trip. Miami, of course. Sun, beaches, margaritas, and sisterhood. She hugged me at the airport like she was heading to war and I was her devoted soldier. The second she cleared TSA, I called the movers. They came late like I asked. 2 guys, 1 truck, 3 hours of quiet lifting. I didn't take everything. Just what was mine. Just what mattered. When I was done, I left my keys on the kitchen counter. No note. No warning. Just an echo of everything I no longer owed her. Let her come home and figure it out. Let her feel what silence tastes like. Let her sit in the mess she made. Alone. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I laid on the mattress in the rental. No sheets, no headboard. Just the frame and me staring at the popcorn ceiling like it had answers written in it. The room was dead silent except for the occasional groan of old plumbing and the ticking of the wall clock I hadn't even noticed until 3 a.m. It was like time was mocking me. Tick, 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 counting down to the moment Amanda would unlock the door and realize I was gone. I imagined her reaction. Probably some combination of confusion and outrage. Maybe she'd call. Maybe she'd show up banging on the door of this place once she figured it out. Or maybe not. Maybe she wouldn't care at all. Maybe she'd laugh with Kendra and say, "Guess he finally grew a pair." There was this one moment I kept replaying about 3 months ago. I had made dinner actually tried for once. Steak. Roasted potatoes. Even set candles. She came in, took one look and groaned like I'd ruined her night. "Jake, I already told you. I'm not doing heavy food this week." God, do you even listen? I remember standing there, holding the serving spoon like an idiot, wondering if I'd actually imagined the 6 years we spent together. Because the woman in front of me, rolling her eyes and texting while I tried to talk, wasn't my wife. Not the one I met. Not even close. But you don't just fall out of love all at once. It bleeds out of you in moments like that. In the sighs. The dismissive smirks. The passive-aggressive silence that follows every attempt to connect. You sit there and hope it's just a phase. That the woman who once lit up every room is still inside that cold stranger at your dinner table. But eventually, the hope runs dry. It wasn't just the lies. It was the disrespect. The disinterest. Amanda didn't even pretend to value me anymore. I was her doormat with a mortgage. Her backup plan. The guy who paid for the gym membership she used to meet Troy. Yeah, I said his name. I know who he is now. Troy Marshall. Works in her office. Drives a silver Audi. Tall, bearded, flashy teeth and a spray tan. The kind of guy who calls other men bro and compliments himself out loud. I saw them together once, total accident. I was coming out of the UPS store downtown and there they were across the street, laughing like teenagers. She reached up and brushed something off his shoulder. He kissed her cheek like it was nothing. Like he belonged there. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did and didn't care. That's when it stopped hurting. You'd think that moment would have ripped me apart, but all it did was make everything crystal clear. She wasn't mine anymore. Hadn't been for a long time. I was just the guy holding space while she rehearsed her exit. And yet, I still felt like the one who was disappearing. I spent the next 2 days doing what I'd been too afraid to do for years, telling the truth. To my parents. To my sister. To my closest friend Mike, who had always been suspicious of Amanda but kept his mouth shut out of respect. They all reacted differently, but the common thread was the same, finally. Mike actually laughed when I told him I moved out. "Man, you should have left her 2 anniversaries ago," he said. "She treated you like a stranger with a debit card." That one hit hard. Because it was true. I got 3 messages from her while she was still in Miami. Casual stuff. A picture of the beach. A boomerang of a margarita. One little text that said, "Miss you face-blowing kiss." That was the moment I knew she hadn't felt a damn thing when she kissed me goodbye. So I didn't answer. I waited. I waited for her return. For the storm. And on Sunday evening at 6:47 p.m. my phone finally rang. Her name lit up the screen like a ghost. I didn't pick up. Instead, I turned off the ringer, set the phone down, and went back to eating dinner. Alone. Peacefully. She was home. And I was gone. She called 17 times. I didn't answer once. By call 9, she started leaving voicemails. I didn't listen to the first 5. The 6th one played automatically when I tapped the screen by accident, and I heard it for maybe 3 seconds, just her voice, frantic and sharp like a blade. "Jake, what the hell is going on? Where's all your stuff?" I ended the playback right there. It wasn't even the confusion that got me. It was the tone. Like I had done something wrong. Like she was the one who'd come home to betrayal. That voicemail was nothing but panic dressed in entitlement. The sound of someone who never thought consequences would catch up to her. I spent that night sitting on the floor of the new apartment, laptop open, scrolling through old pictures I didn't even realize I still had backed up to the cloud. Trips. Birthdays. Our wedding. Her smiling at me from under a veil she'd picked out with her mother, who'd hugged me with tears in her eyes and whispered, "She's lucky to have you." Was she? Or was I just easy? By morning, Amanda's tone had changed. Text 1. "Where are you? This isn't funny. Text 4. Seriously, Jake? Talk to me. Text 9. Did someone break in? What happened? Then came the real Amanda. The one behind the fake tears and filtered photos. The one I'd been waking up next to for too long without realizing it. Text 14. So you're just going to disappear like a coward? Text 15. Grow the hell up. You want attention? Fine. You got it. There she was. And then, message 16. This is about Troy, isn't it? I stared at that one for a long time. She didn't say who's Troy. She didn't ask what are you talking about. She just knew. There was no more lying to be done. She'd already counted on the lie running its course. Maybe she thought I'd scream, accuse, maybe cry. But what she didn't expect was the worst punishment of all. Silence. That day, she showed up at my office. I saw her before she saw me. Through the glass doors, pacing in that designer coat I paid for last Christmas. She looked rattled. That was new. Amanda was always composed, always poised. But now she was chewing at her thumbnail like a teenager caught sneaking out. I stepped out before security had the chance to call me. We locked eyes. Jake, she said, rushing toward me like she'd been rehearsing the moment. What is this? What are you doing? I held up my hand. Calm, cold, quiet. You need to leave. Her lips parted like I'd slapped her. Excuse me? You don't just vanish, Jake. You don't just ghost your wife. The word wife hit my ears like a joke. A title she tossed in the trash months ago, only to dig it out now that it suited her argument. You want to talk? I said. Then let's talk. Let's talk about TM. Let's talk about hotel rooms and cloud folders. Let's talk about the version of you I didn't see until you let your mask slip for 1 second. She looked around. People were watching. She hated that. Amanda thrived in controlled rooms. Quiet, curated, polite. Not public drama. Jake, she hissed, voice low now. You're blowing this way out of. No, I said. I'm not blowing anything. I'm cleaning up. She opened her mouth again, but I'd already turned. Left her standing there, one hand raised, half-formed apology or excuse caught in her throat. I didn't look back. Back in my office, I shut the door and took a breath that felt like the first one I'd taken in months. Let her rage. Let her twist the story. Let her tell her friends I was unhinged or cracked under pressure. The truth was simple. I wasn't hers anymore. She just didn't realize she'd lost me long before I left. 2 days passed before she showed up again, this time at my sister's place. I should have seen it coming. Amanda always hated Ashley. Thought she was too blunt, too in my business. In reality, Ashley just never bought Amanda's act. She saw through the sugar-sweet smiles and passive digs from the beginning. When I told her I'd left, Ashley didn't say, I'm sorry. She just said, took you long enough. So when Amanda showed up at her door, hair done, makeup perfect, voice all soft and wounded, Ashley didn't even let her get through the first fake sad syllable before she shut her down. I got the full play-by-play later that night. She asked if you were here, Ashley said. Tried to pull the I'm still his wife card. And, I asked. I told her that title expires when you treat someone like trash for 1.5 years. I didn't laugh. I wanted to, but I didn't, because deep down it still stung. Not her showing up. Not even the fake concern. What hit me was that she was still trying to control the narrative. Still acting like this was just some dramatic moment I'd get over. Like I'd come crawling back once I calmed down. What Amanda couldn't wrap her head around was this. I wasn't angry. I was done. She messaged again later that night. A different tone this time. Slower. More surgical. I know you're hurting. I know I haven't been perfect. But you walking out like this isn't fair either. That was her favorite line. Not fair. Amanda always twisted things into balance sheets. She treated emotional betrayal like a shared debt. I didn't respond. The next message? I'm not saying I didn't make mistakes, but if you just talk to me like an adult, we could work through this. It's not like I don't love you. That one almost got a reply. Almost. Because love? That word coming from her? I remembered that Sunday when she came home from one of her yoga retreats. Hair wet, neck red like she'd fallen asleep in the sun. But there was no tan. She walked into the house humming, dropped her bag, kissed me like she was trying to convince herself she still felt something, and said, "Let's order Thai." I asked her if she'd had fun. She said yes. I asked if she was with Kendra the whole time. She paused, just for a second, said, "Yeah, of course." And that pause, it told me everything. She couldn't even lie right anymore. She just didn't care to. When you love someone, and they stop caring whether you believe them or not, that's when the grave gets dug. Later that week, she sent an email. A long one. The kind of thing someone writes when they're trying to make their side sound reasonable. She peppered it with emotional buzzwords: confused, disconnected, not sure who we are anymore. She mentioned counseling. Said maybe this break was good. Maybe it would make us stronger. She still didn't get it. I wasn't on a break. I was free. The silence must have started eating her alive because that Friday night I got a picture. It popped up on my phone while I was eating in the kitchen: pizza, beer, peace. The photo was a selfie. Amanda, sad-eyed, no makeup, lying on our bed. Alone. Caption: "Is this really what you want?" I looked at that face. The same face that used to make me feel like home. The same face I watched laugh with a man behind my back while she accused me of being distant. And I deleted the picture. No reply. No pity. That bed was hers now. Let her lie in it. Let her stare at the ceiling and feel the weight of what she lost, not because I left, but because she let go of me long before I ever walked out that door. It was the knock on the door that finally pushed things into a new gear. Saturday evening. Quiet. I was halfway through folding laundry, the kind of normal task that felt strange in a place that didn't smell like her shampoo or echo with her voice anymore. The knock came soft at first, like maybe they weren't sure they even wanted to be heard. But I knew who it was before I even stood up. Amanda. I took a breath before opening the door. Not because I was nervous, because I wanted to be calm. I wanted to see her and feel nothing. That was the goal now. Not revenge. Not a shouting match. Just clean, sharp indifference. She stood there in leggings and a hoodie, the fake kind of casual you wear when you want to look vulnerable. Hair in a loose bun, no makeup, but I could see the eyeliner smudged from earlier. Like she'd cried. Or wanted it to look like she had. "Hey," she said. I didn't answer. Just stared. She tucked her hands into her sleeves. I didn't know where else to go. I leaned against the doorframe. "You have a boyfriend, don't you?" That landed hard. Her lips parted. "Jake? Isn't Troy around?" I asked. "Or did he get tired of you too?" Her jaw clenched. She looked like she wanted to cry again but wasn't sure it would work. "I didn't come here to fight." "Good," I said. "Because I'm not fighting. I'm done." She stepped forward like she thought she could just walk in. Like the rules hadn't changed. I blocked the doorway with my body. That stopped her. "I miss you," she said finally. Quiet. Too quiet. I almost laughed. "You miss the version of me that tolerated you," I said. "The guy who swallowed his pride and gave you space while you filled it with someone else. It wasn't like that." I smiled. "Amanda, do you even know how many times you've lied to me? You've done it so often I don't think you even remember the truth." She opened her mouth but nothing came out. "You lied about business trips," I said. "You lied about who you were with. You lied to my face while texting him across the table. And even now you're standing here like you deserve something from me." That hit her. I saw it in the twitch of her mouth. But instead of backing down, she switched tactics. "You think you're the only one who felt abandoned," she said, voice suddenly sharper. "You think I was happy in that marriage? You stopped trying. You went cold. You buried yourself in work. You never listened to me." I laughed once. Dry. Bitter. "There it is." "What?" "The flip," I said. "The part where this becomes my fault. Where the cheating wife blames the husband for making her cheat. Classic Amanda." She took a step back like I'd slapped her. "You want the truth?" I said. "Fine. I stopped listening because you stopped saying anything worth hearing. You talked at me, not to me. And every time I tried to fix things, you looked at me like I was pathetic for trying. I didn't mean it. But you did mean it," I cut in. "You meant every eye roll. Every night you turned your back. Every lie you slipped between your teeth with that fake little smirk. You thought I wouldn't find out. And even if I did, you didn't think I'd have the spine to leave." She didn't speak. "I moved out without warning," I said. "Because I knew if I gave you a chance to talk, you'd twist everything. You'd cry, maybe throw in a few memories, remind me of how things used to be. And I might have stayed. And I would have hated myself for it." Her eyes were glassy now, but I didn't care. "Don't look at me like I broke something," I said. "You broke it. You dropped it. I just walked away from the mess." She wiped her cheek, and for a second I saw the woman I married, the woman who used to dance barefoot in the kitchen, who kissed me slow in the mornings before either of us spoke. But that version of her died long ago. Is this it? She asked. After everything? Yeah, I said. This is it. She turned and walked away. I didn't watch her go. Didn't check the window. Didn't hope she'd turn back. I closed the door. Locked it. And for the first time in years I felt safe in my own silence. Sunday morning came quiet. No buzz of Amanda's hairdryer from the bathroom. No passive-aggressive clatter in the kitchen while she cleaned, just loud enough to make a point. Just sunlight bleeding through the curtains of a room that didn't carry her scent anymore. It should have felt empty. It didn't. I made coffee in silence, sat at the tiny two-person table that came with the rental, and for a long while just stared at the steam. My phone was on Do Not Disturb, but I could see the red notification bubble growing. She was still trying. Texts, missed calls, one voice message that said only, "If you don't come back and talk to me like a man, I swear I'm going to show everyone who you really are." That one made me laugh out loud. Who I really am. Amanda built a version of me in her head, a steady, quiet man who'd rather bend than break. The man who swallowed every insult, every cold shoulder, every calculated lie because love was supposed to be unconditional. The man who kept giving while she took, then twisted it to make herself the victim. She thought she'd sculpted me into something docile, something easily controlled. What she didn't expect was that the quiet ones are the most dangerous when they finally decide to stop absorbing damage and start stepping away from the fire. By noon, the group chat with our mutual friends lit up. That's when I knew she'd made her move. Screenshots. I didn't even open the whole thread. Just the first two images she posted in the group. One was a close-up of a wedding photo, her holding my face like she owned it. The other was a new selfie. Her crying. Real tears this time. Caption. I tried everything. But some people just break your heart no matter how hard you love them. The spin was on. The reactions came fast. Melissa, of course, poured it on thick. OMG Amanda, I'm so sorry. You deserve better. Jason, who always tried to stay neutral, posted a confused "What happened?" No one asked me. They didn't need to. Amanda knew how to play her audience. She wasn't trying to win me back anymore. She was trying to salvage the narrative. To make sure she didn't walk away looking like the villain in her own story. I scrolled. Saw what she wanted them to believe, that I checked out, that I withdrew, that I wasn't emotionally available. That she tried everything. And in a way, she did. She tried lying. She tried guilt. She tried gaslighting, spinning, seducing, disappearing, reappearing. She tried rewriting the entire timeline. But facts have gravity. They don't stay buried forever. That afternoon I sent exactly one message. To the group. No explanation. No anger. Just a simple forward. A screenshot from Amanda's own iCloud that she forgot was synced to the home laptop I used sometimes. A photo I'd quietly saved 2 weeks ago. Her, in a hotel bed, grinning, wearing someone else's shirt. A silver Audi key on the nightstand. No caption. No comment. Just a fact. Then I left the chat. I muted everything after that. Let them sort it out. Let them wonder. Let the image do what words never could. The next day, my inbox was flooded. Friends, coworkers, even Amanda's sister, who I always got along with. Most were awkward. A few were angry. Some apologized. But I didn't answer any of them. I didn't need to explain myself. The only message I opened was from Mike. It said, "You finally stood up. Proud of you. Don't ever go back." That night, I slept better than I had in years. And I dreamed of nothing. The storm came 3 days later. Amanda showed up at my office again, but this time she didn't come alone. She brought reinforcements, Melissa, her personal cheerleader since college. Same woman who used to whisper at dinner parties, stir drama, call me overly serious, behind my back, and too plain for Amanda's spark. I recognized the strategy instantly. She wasn't coming to talk. She was coming to perform. I was in the middle of a meeting when reception buzzed. "There are 2 women here to see you. They are not on the calendar." I stepped into the hallway and saw them standing there. Amanda in a trench coat, arms crossed, jaw tight. Melissa wearing oversized sunglasses indoors like she was there for backup or headlines. They looked like they expected a scene. Cameras. Witnesses. They got silence. I didn't say a word, just looked at them, waiting. Amanda was the first to crack. "Jake," she snapped like she was summoning a dog. "Can we talk?" "Privately." Melissa stepped forward like a bodyguard. "He owes you a conversation." I ignored her. Amanda's tone shifted fast. "I don't know what kind of narrative you're trying to build, but airing private photos in a public chat? That was disgusting." You embarrassed me. I smiled, just barely. I didn't send that picture to embarrass you. I sent it to stop you from lying. She flinched. It was small, but it was there. You think I'm the villain? She said, her voice rising now for the people watching through the glass. You think walking out without a word makes you noble? You abandoned me. You cheated on me. And you gave up on us long before I did. There it was again, her fallback strategy. If you don't like the truth, dilute it with emotional noise. Why are you really here, Amanda? I asked, calm as ever. She hesitated. Melissa nudged her. I want to talk, she said finally. Like real talk. About what comes next. I laughed softly. You mean the part where I take you back after months of lies, gaslighting, and manipulation? Or are you talking about the part where you spin this to your lawyer so you don't lose your grip on my savings? That did it. Her eyes turned cold. She looked at me like I was a stranger. No more tears, no more sad eyes. Just calculation. We don't have to burn the whole house down, she said quietly. But if you keep pushing me, I will make this difficult. I stepped forward, just enough for her to hear me clearly. You already did. I turned and walked away, back into my office, closing the door on whatever little theater she had left in her. Behind the glass, I watched her fume. Melissa whispered something. Amanda nodded slowly, straightened her coat, and walked out like she hadn't just been exposed in front of half the building. It didn't feel triumphant. It just felt over. Later that evening, I got a formal email from her attorney. Subject, preliminary discussion on separation terms. That was the moment it became real, not just emotionally, but legally, financially, entirely. 6 years, a house, joint accounts, retirement plans, insurance beneficiaries unspooled like thread on a spindle I'd never wanted to let go of. But I was ready. I'd already frozen our accounts, closed the shared credit card, changed my will, my passwords, my locks. She was expecting me to be reactive, slow, broken, but I wasn't that man anymore. Mike came over that night with a six-pack. We sat on the patio, not saying much, just listening to the wind as it slipped between buildings like a ghost with nowhere left to haunt. You good? He asked. I'm getting there. Good, he said. Because the way she looked today? She's not done trying. Not by a long shot. I know, I said. And I meant it. But try all she wants, she'll never find her way back. Because what's broken can be glued. What's shattered? That stays in pieces. She didn't take the hint. If anything, Amanda ramped it up. First it was the calls, more frequent, more desperate, but always teetering on that line between apology and manipulation. Then came the gifts. A box delivered to my new place, no note. Inside? My old hoodie she used to steal from me when we were happy. And tucked beneath it, the watch I thought she lost 2 years ago. The one my dad gave me before he passed. That one got under my skin. Not because I thought she cared, but because she knew what she was doing. That watch had weight. It had history. She'd taken it, kept it, held it back. And now, with everything crumbling, she decided to return it like some kind of peace offering. She was trying to get into my head. So I boxed it back up, took it to her office myself, dropped it on the front desk with a short note that read, I don't need reminders of who you pretended to be. 2 hours later, she called. I didn't pick up. 10 minutes after that, a voicemail. I don't know who you are anymore, Jake. You used to be kind. You used to care. I made mistakes, yeah, but this is cruel. Cruel. She really said that. I sat there staring at my phone, trying to understand how she could still spin this. How after everything, after Troy, after the lies, after rewriting our story like I was some forgettable chapter, she could still act like the victim. That night, I got a message from Troy. Yeah, Troy. He found me on Instagram. New profile. Burner account. No profile picture, no bio. Just one message. You don't know what really happened between us. She said you were done years ago. You treated her like a ghost. What did you expect? I stared at the message for a long time and I realized I wasn't even angry. I pitied him. Because he didn't know he was next. Amanda had a pattern. I saw it now, clean and clear. When she got bored, she flirted with escape. When things got complicated, she blamed someone else. When someone gave her everything, she drained it dry and then turned them into a villain for being tired. Troy thought he was the exception. The prize. The better man. He wasn't. He was just the next one waiting to drown. I blocked him without replying. That weekend, I met with my lawyer. I didn't want drama. I wanted distance. My terms were simple: split the house, I take the car, no alimony, no drawn-out courtroom battles. Just clean lines. Freedom on paper to match the freedom I'd already claimed in my mind. But Amanda? She didn't want simple. She wanted control. 2 days later, I got an email from her attorney pushing back on every point. She wanted full ownership of the house, said she had more memories tied to it. She wanted the car because it was purchased during the marriage. And she wanted compensation for emotional hardship caused by abandonment. Abandonment. This was the same woman who left me alone in that house night after night while she played dress-up with someone else's future. Who lied with a straight face and dared me to prove otherwise. Who came back smelling like cologne I didn't wear and claimed I was imagining things. Abandonment? No. What she experienced was a consequence. And it was long overdue. I called my lawyer. Told her we'd go to court if we had to. I wasn't bluffing. Amanda wanted war? She'd finally found someone who wouldn't fold. But here's the thing about people like her, they don't handle rejection well. They thrive on control, attention, performance. When the script stops working, they unravel. The unraveling started with another text. A photo this time. Her and Troy. Smiling. On a boat. The caption read, "Some endings are blessings in disguise." It wasn't meant for celebration. It was bait. But I didn't bite. Let her try to make me jealous. Let her put on the show. I wasn't watching anymore. I was already building something else. Something better. Something honest. Because sometimes you don't have to win the argument. You just have to walk away from the fire and never look back. I didn't respond to the boat photo. Didn't even open it again after that first glance. Let her think whatever she wanted, that I was bitter, wounded, jealous. I wasn't any of those things. What I was done. But Amanda wasn't. 3 days after her fake honeymoon photo with Troy, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten in the kind of dramatic cursive she only used for Christmas cards and birthday notes when she wanted to seem deep. The paper smelled like the perfume she used to wear on purpose whenever she was going out for one of her yoga retreats. The envelope was lavender, sealed with a gold sticker like it was some sacred document. I almost tossed it in the trash unopened. But curiosity won. Inside were 2 pages. The first line stopped me. "You might not believe this, but I never wanted to hurt you." She always started like that. Not with truth. With framing. The rest of the letter was a layered, calculated mix of selective memory, half-regret, and emotional bait. She wrote about the early days. Our first trip together to Portland when we danced in the rain and drank whiskey out of a paper bag. The time I held her after her dad's surgery. The little apartment with the crooked windows where we first said I love you. She was trying to drag me back. Memory by memory. Then came the switch, subtle but predictable. I just didn't feel seen anymore. I was drowning. I needed someone to remind me I was still worth something. Troy didn't steal me. You lost me. There it was. Every line a deflection. A justification wrapped in poetry. She didn't take responsibility. She reframed her betrayal as a consequence of my supposed emotional absence. As if the cure for loneliness was deception. As if infidelity was a symptom I gave her. The final paragraph was the one she meant the most. If we can't be what we were, maybe we can at least find peace in how we end. I'd rather be your past with grace than your regret with bitterness. I folded the letter once. Neatly. Then slid it into the shredder and let the teeth eat her words one slow inch at a time. She wanted grace? Grace was me walking away quietly. Grace was me not dragging her name through the mud even when I could have. Grace was me giving her space to run her mouth, spin her stories, flash her smiles, and choosing silence instead. But grace doesn't mean reconciliation. And it sure as hell doesn't mean forgetting. Later that night, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Melissa. "Jake," she said, sounding like she hadn't slept. "I shouldn't be doing this, but I thought you should know. Troy's gone." I sat up. Gone? They broke up. Or, well, he found out she was messaging someone else. I don't know all the details. She's been spiraling. Drinking. Texting random people at 2 a.m. She's not in a good place. I let the silence hang. She keeps saying she made a mistake. That she chose chaos over comfort. Whatever that means. I didn't say anything. "Anyway," Melissa said, quieter now, "I guess I just wanted to say. I'm sorry. For a lot. That part did surprise me." "You helped her lie," I said flatly. "I did," she admitted. "I thought she was unhappy. I thought you were cold. I didn't see the full picture." "You still don't." She sighed. "Fair enough." We hung up. I stared at the ceiling for a long time that night. Not thinking about Amanda. Not even about Troy. But about me. About who I had been before I got small to fit her life. Because the truth is, I spent so long trying to be enough for her that I forgot how to be whole on my own. And now, in the silence she left behind, I was starting to remember. I wasn't her regret. I was her lesson. The last time I saw Amanda was by accident. 2 weeks had passed since the letter. 3 since her meltdown with Troy. I hadn't heard from her directly since, just the occasional social media ripple echoes from mutual friends I no longer spoke to. Melissa, oddly, had gone silent too. Maybe she'd finally stopped orbiting Amanda's collapsing little world. Maybe she was pulled under. I was at a bookstore of all places. Saturday afternoon. It was raining and I remember thinking how rare that was for me. I was standing in the nonfiction aisle, flipping through something about rebuilding after trauma, not because I needed help anymore, but because it felt like confirmation of how far I'd already come. The kind of page you read and realize I'm past this now. That's when I heard her voice. Soft. Awkward. From behind me. Jake? I didn't freeze. I didn't flinch. I turned calmly. And there she was. Hair down, damp at the ends. No makeup. Just jeans and old hoodie. She looked small. Not broken, not tragic. Just ordinary. Amanda always tried so hard to seem untouchable, radiant above. But now, stripped of performance and posturing, she looked like any woman wandering through a chapter she didn't write carefully enough. Hey, she said. Like we were two acquaintances who hadn't spoken since college. I gave her a simple nod. Hey. We stood there in a strange bubble of quiet. Bookshelves all around. The soft murmur of rain and shuffling customers. You look good, she said. I am. She shifted her weight. I saw the flicker in her eyes. She'd hoped for more. Some crack. A question. An opening. Something to let her in. I've been thinking a lot, she said. About us. I stayed quiet. I know I messed up, she continued. I don't think I knew what I wanted until it was gone. There it was. Not regret. Not apology. Just loss. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry for where it left her. I thought Troy would feel like freedom, she said. But he wasn't. He was just new. And empty. I didn't respond. Not out of spite. But because nothing she said could matter now. I still love you, you know? That one didn't even sting. I looked at her for what she was, not the woman I married or the woman I mourned, but the one who taught me exactly how far I could fall if I kept loving someone who didn't value truth. I hope you figure things out, Amanda, I said. But I'm not part of that story anymore. Her eyes welled. So that's it? That was it a long time ago. She nodded slowly, then looked down as if she thought there might be one last word waiting on the floor between us. There wasn't. She left without another sound. I stayed a while longer. Bought the book. When I got home, I opened a fresh journal and started writing, not about her. About me. About what comes next. About rebuilding from a fire I didn't start but damn sure finished. Because here's what I know now. Love without honesty is a performance. Loyalty without respect is servitude. And staying where you're not valued isn't noble. It's self-destruction. I don't hate Amanda. I don't wish her pain. But I do wish her distance from me, from my life, from the peace I finally earned. And to anyone reading this? If you see the signs, don't wait to find proof. Don't wait for your self-worth to erode until the lie feels more comfortable than the truth. Trust your gut. Move when the moment calls you. And remember, leaving isn't weakness. It's freedom. And I'm finally, truly free.